So Fury Usyk has been a roller coaster ride of ups and downs to say the least, and so many questions are yet to be answered. Why do some still believe this fight may not even happen? Are they both on the slide? And why are the bookies and the boxing media all completely torn?
I'm gonna go for Usyk to knock me out in the first round. Why not?
Yes, interesting stuff. The Undisputed has been and still is laced with much uncertainty. So firstly, let's talk about where the uncertainty of the fight actually stemmed from. Now, whilst these two are due to battle it out for the crown of the greatest heavyweight in this era, the story all started with who I consider to be the actual greatest heavyweight of this era, Derek Chisora.
Yeah.
Yes, big up Derek. Now, when Derek wasn't filling his arse up with Vaseline or plugging his OnlyFans, fucking hell, who's paying for that? Bloody hell, sorry. He was fighting both these terrific fighters and happens to be their only common opponent. But it was back in late 2022 when he was outclassed by the Gypsy King and Usyk jumped on the apron to make it known that this was now the fight to be made. Both men undefeated, both men seemingly in the prime of their careers and all the belts on the line. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah. Well, anyway, just prior to this, we'd had a bit of aggro with Fury Joshua that we got all excited for. Tyson said, "Come on, Joshy boy, you fancy a bit of the Gypsy King?" AJ said, "Yeah, don't mind if I fucking do." Fury said, "Alright then, sign the contract, bruv, but I'm giving you a deadline." "Oh, alright, fair enough. When's the deadline?" "No, that's it, too late. You missed the fucking deadline, you big spam head. Snooze, you lose. Come on, deal boy, let's go to Tottenham, bruv." But anyway, maybe at the time AJ didn't deserve the Fury fight. However, Usyk certainly did. This was a guaranteed Saudi fight with plenty Benjamins available, so it was only a matter of time. Turned out to be a matter of a long fucking time, because yes, Tyson was very stubborn with the split. Krasiak and Frank Warren got on like Terry and Bridge stuck in a fucking lift. It was all a bit painful to watch, and ultimately the undisputed fight that we all wanted to see completely shit itself. So it was heartbreaking stuff at the time. Money was clearly the defining factor in all of it, and unless the mega dollar was on the table, it was hard to see the fight actually happening. But at the same time of the collapse, old Saudi Arabia were making their move onto the scene. So Usyk ventured off to go and defeat Daniel Dubious convincingly, other than a cheeky blow just above the bollock. Fury then kicked off Saudi's introduction to big time boxing with the Ngannou fight, and after this both men met in the ring once more to announce this time that it really was on. And unlike before, it was signed, sealed and delivered, baby. Now, although it was official, the uncertainty still was lingering amongst fans. Even famous boxers weren't fully convinced, including Sean Porter, who incidentally beat Usyk way back in the amateurs.
That fight is not happening. We do not see them touch gloves and sit in the ring and box.
John, I'm glad you said it, because I'm in the same boat.
So yeah, you could understand the worries, but then it all got serious. The blinding promo was released, both men were looking very sharp in camp, and it all felt in double safe hands because Mr. Turkey Al Sheikh doesn't mess about. But then, February 2nd, merely days away from the fight, as I opened up my internet browser, I was totally shocked. Oh, for fuck's sake. No, hold on. How'd you get rid of this? Oh, for fuck. Oh, this must be someone else's computer. Right, oh, here we are. Okay, right. Yes, as I opened up my internet browser and saw the news, heartbreak for myself and every boxing fan hit once again. Heartbreak and a bit of, oh yeah, what a fucking shock. No, but seriously, unfortunately, it happened to be a fluke accident, a nasty cut from sparring right above Fury's eye, and the Undisputed simply could not go ahead. We wondered if Usyk would fight someone else, and if so, who would take Fury's place? Would it be Hrgovic? Would it be Sanchez, Chisora, Pumba, Pricey? Fuck knows. But luckily the saviour of boxing called a mother's meeting and confirmed there is only one fight on the horizon, and this is just a minor hiccup. So now present day, we are merely hours away from May the 18th, and I'm all excited like everyone else. But yes, I suppose we can't help it, the element of doubt still lingers because it's been such a bumpy ride. So much so that Team Usyk have even put Hrgovic on standby. But come on people, let's stay positive and move on from this uncertainty. Let's talk about another uncertainty that's a much more joyful conversation. But just before we do, give me a few seconds to remind you all about Sparko, chaps. Yes, me and the proper podcast lads have created this absolute blinder, and if you're a boxing nut, how's about get yourself some lovely boxing clubber? We've got you loads of sexy designs so you'll look the absolute bollocks. And not just that, but we got you some double terrific accessories as well. How's about a mug for your mate's birthday? Give him a cuppa and tell him what you really really fucking think. Link in the description, you'll bloody love it. Now, where were we? Yes, the uncertainty of the odds. So I thought I'd check out the odds for this cracking matchup the other day, and I was a little bit surprised to see how close they actually were. Paddy Power and Bet365 cannot separate both men, while Sky Sports have it favouring Tyson Fury by a pubic hair. Now, a couple of years ago, it was rather heavily in Tyson's favour. So why all of a sudden the drastic change, eh? Well, let's have a look at the nitty gritty. First of all, obviously Tyson has a whopping 6-inch height advantage over the Ukrainian, which is more like 9 inches when he's on tippy toes in photos. Look at this, he fucking loves it, doesn't he? But also he has that massive advantage with the extra 7 inches of reach. Now you could say, Usyk had no trouble with AJ, who also has a very long reach. Why would he have trouble with Fury? But even AJ is trailing 3 inches on Fury's wiry, lengthy arms. Combine this with his much bigger weight and therefore strength, and this means Fury favours in all the bodily attributes by a very long way. But yes, okay, that don't necessarily win fights, and let's be honest, Usyk will be totally unfazed by Fury's size anyway. So moreover, if we're going on past performances, a bit of what have you done for me lately, then Usyk takes the cake by a mile. His last 2 wins being a victory over AJ for the second time in excellent fashion, and of course a demolition of Dubious. This is up against Fury's easy win over Chisora and a very bad night at the office against Ngannou. In my pointless opinion, Fury couldn't really have had worse a preparation for a fight against a genius tactician like Usyk, because let's be honest, Chisora is completely washed up now, and that's a fight he could win anyway on autopilot, and Ngannou was a debut boxer who, even though had a very good night, ultimately is nowhere near the level of a world-class boxer. AJ showed us the real truth. So yes, this will be very unfamiliar territory for both men, Usyk having to deal with the biggest frame he's ever been in the ring with, and Fury having to deal with a master tactician of the ring, having recently fought 2 brawlers who replicate him in no way whatsoever. Not to mention they were both orthodox, Usyk being the dreaded southpaw. Now I suppose it's quite hard to see either man getting knocked out due to their chin track record. Yes, Fury is the more powerful, therefore more capable of getting the knockout, but then again, AJ is clearly more powerful than Fury, and even his best couldn't take out Usyk, so who knows? Well, to be fair, I'm sure AJ could knock Usyk out, but he just couldn't fucking find him, could he? Because Usyk tends to move about like a postman with the shits. And yeah, with Tyson having taken the best of Deontay Wilder, it feels like a huge ask for old Usyk to be able to keep the Gypsy King down, so all in all a decision at the end feels very likely, which is probably why the odds on a draw are unusually low for a heavyweight fight. But what about the final uncertainty? The uncertainty of the slide. The big question is, are both men on the slide, or is it only one of them, and if so, which one? Well, starting with Usyk, he beat Daniel Dubious convincingly, but he wasn't quite as elusive or as fast as the previous AJ fights. Could this have been an injury or an element of being messed about in the Fury negotiations, making him less motivated for the Dubious fight? Or could it be the dreaded slide? Because at the age of 37 and having been training and fighting since the age of 15, it wouldn't be a surprise to see cracks starting to appear, or more injuries in camp, etc. I mean, we've seen this so often with the 39-year-old Beterbiev. He gets injured more than a blind fucking stuntman. There may be a little more to that story actually, but that's for another day anyway. Then we come to Fury. Well, he's slightly younger at 35, but we know he's changed drastically since the Klitschko win, becoming more standard trade, less movement and a bit less footwork. It's a big difference, but it has been working very well, all the way up until the Ngannou fight, when it all of a sudden didn't work so well. We'll probably never actually know if he didn't bother training for this fight or if he took it lightly. I mean, it would make sense. Looking like Homer Simpson at the first presser would be a fucking first clue. But either way, if a version of this Fury turns up against Usyk, then he can kiss them belts goodbye. Because not only was the footwork off, the timing was off as well, and he kept getting caught by a debut boxer. Usyk will double the output of Ngannou, meaning this would become an absolute fucking nightmare. So there is a question mark against the Usyk slide, but you can't beat about the hairy bush. Tyson's name has been mentioned quite a lot in regards to if he's finally past his best.
But Fury's, I think, past his best and on the slide, especially after that Ngannou fight.
And Fury, you know, he's looked maybe on the slide, especially against Ngannou.
But against Derek, I just didn't see the same fighter, and if anything, I think he may be the one now on the slide. I think his legs have gone.
Yes, there we are. So this uncertainty is the one that will be the defining factor on the night. Are they both still at the top of their game, or has someone lost what they once had? Hopefully not, so it gives us the best possible fight. Either way, it's all opinions and waffle at the minute till they step in the ring, and I can't help it. My nipples are double on point with excitement. Roll on May the 18th, don't you ruddy miss it. Tally ho for now.